Okay, so last time we talked about Java threads. So today we are going to talk about executor service. So executor service is some kind of functionality which was introduced by Java. So we can use this executor service with the threads concept. So let's see what this executor service is made for, and let's get some idea first before we going into the coding part, right? Okay, so in last time when we create threads, so for our each task we create one thread. So think we have a one task, and in order to execute that task we created a thread, and we submitted that task to this thread, and then we executed our task using this thread. And think we now we need to uh, execute one more task. Then what happened, we will create two threads. That's what we did last time. So think likewise, think we had some kind of 10 threads or 20 threads. So in that scenario, what we did is we create 10 threads for those 10 tasks, and then we if we had 20 threads, sorry, if we had 20 tasks, then we create 20 threads to execute those 20 tasks. That's what happened. So the basically what we did is we we kept creating threads over and over again uh, when we have a task to execute. So actually in that scenario we had a, a serious problem. What is that serious problem? When we create a new thread, it will consume some amount of our resources. So what did I mean by resources? So the resources are the computing capacity and memory. So that's what I mean by resources. So when we create a thread, and when we try to execute that thread, we need some kind of computing capacity. That means we need the core, CPU core, uh, and also we need the memory to keep the track of the objects, and also variables that we create inside that thread. So when we keep creating threads over and over again, what it will do is it will consume the resources of our computer over and over again, and it will go uh, uh, it will keep consuming and allocating those resources to their threads, to their execution. So the issue is our the resources are limited. So actually we don't have unlimited RAM and also unlimited CPU cost, right? So those are limited. So when we keep creating those threads, uh, it will consume our the resources over and over again. Then at the end, what happened? It will degrade our the performance of our computer uh, slowly and slowly. That's what happened at the end. So actually it is some kind of bad thing for our programs, and also other programs uh, which is run in our computer as well. So to mitigate that scenario, what Java has introduced is Java has introduced the executor service. So in that executor service, the main concept we need to know is the thread pool concept. So what is that thread pool concept. So in thread pool, we create the set of threads, and we are not going to create more threads than this. So at the end of our program, let's say we create 5 threads. So when we execute our task, we are not going to create more threads than this. So we keep this uh, 5 thread uh, 5 threads inside this thread pool, and then what we do is we are going to reuse one thread over and over again uh, to execute our task. So that is what executor service will do. So the executor service will get a one task and execute that task using a one thread. So it will do this all uh, tasks uh, one by one. So and now actually we have some kind of task remaining in the task queue. So then what happen is after this thread finish its execution, then executor service will reuse this thread again to execute this task. So keep in mind, it is not going to create a new thread and submit this task. It will reuse the existing threads from the thread pool. So after this thread finish its execution, and then the executor service will execute uh, this task from the thread. So the whole working mechanism will be handled by the executor service. So we don't need to worry about this internal mechanism. We just need to create the task and create the thread pool, and then we just have to execute this task using this thread pool. That's what we need to do. All the internal things will be taken care of executor service. Okay, now we got a good idea about what executor service and how it works internally, and also what is the thread pool is. So now let's go for the coding part. So in Java, we have a class called executor service. This executor service is a class which is in Java util concurrent package. So in executor service, we can create a predefined executor service using executors class. So this executors class also a part of Java util concurrent package. So using the new fix thread pool, that is a static method in executor service. So in here we need to give how much threads we need. So let's say we need 10 threads, right? Okay, after we create this executor service using this new fixed thread pool static method, what we have to do is we have to submit or execute the task we need. So there is a method called execute. So in this execute method, if we go inside to that execute method, it is accepting the runnable interface, some kind of uh, uh, implementation of runnable interface. So actually we talked about this runnable interface, and also how do we implement a concrete class using this runnable interface in my previous videos. So you can watch those as well. So by watching those, you can get a good idea about this runnable interface. So in this in this execute method, we can implement the runnable interface using a lambda function. So uh, so lambda functions also was talked about my previous videos, so you can see that as well. So in here I will create a simple execution. So I will create like this. So in like this say, we can execute our task. What is our task? This is our task. Task means the thing what we need to do using this thread pool or executor service. So we can execute the task that we need using this executor service. So then also we can execute this inside the loop. That is what is our main use case, because we need to create the set of the threads, and we need to execute some more tasks using that fixed thread pool, right? Okay, let's create the loop. I will create the 20 tasks. In here we can do like this. So in this case, it will run, actually it will execute 20 tasks like this using a 10 fixed thread pool. That means 10 fixed threads. That is what happened here, and that is how we use executor service. And also keep in mind, after we do our things using the executor service, uh, uh, always shut down the executor service using this method. So what will happen when we call the shutdown methods? It will deallocate all the resources which was allocated to these threads. That means it will release all the CPU cores and also all the memory which were allocated to this thread pool. That is what we'll do in shutdown method. And also the specialty is it will deallocate all the resources after this, after all the tasks have executed. Until that, it is not going to deallocate, because uh, the resources will be needed to execute all these tasks, right? So that is the basic idea about executor service. So actually this will be very useful when you create some kind of concurrent program, or some kind of parallel execution program uh, using your Java code. So it is actually good to learn this kind of advanced concepts in Java. So thank you.